So you want to use the escalas to do adornos on any instrument: Requinto, Tololoche, Bajo-electrico, Acordeon de Botones, Acordeon de Teclas. I have Bajoloche over there. I got Bajoquinto up here. On any instrument you can think of, if you know the figuras and the escalas that you can use, then we're gonna see how any adorno can be understood as a pattern, going up or down, or skipping notes, or traversing through the escalas following a specific structure. That's what we're gonna go through today. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how we can do that. I'm going to show you guys some diagrams that we're going to use for the major escala and how we can do adornos over classic songs like corridos, norteños, campiranos, sierreño style music, and also the menor escala shape that we can use for the tumbado and bélico stuff. I also want you guys to be aware that this is not a easy or a basic concept to grasp. This is something that once you get a bit more comfortable on your instrument and you start getting into the intermediate / advanced level, that's when adornos start to become more simple and easy to understand. But you have to lay the groundwork for it. And if you're still at that beginner to intermediate level and you feel like you need more, you can consider signing up for private lessons with me or joining one of my music theory courses that I have for Requinto and Armonia, for Bajo-electrico, for Tololoche, for Bajoquinto, for Bajoloche, and for Acordeon de Teclas. Those are the courses I have right now that'll take you from the very beginning of learning your tonos, the order of them, and how we build escalas and acordes, and how we contextualize all these ideas and know on what acorde to do what adorno, how to go between the notes and all of that. That's what we go through in all of my music theory courses. So send me a DM on Instagram if you guys are interested in that. But let's get straight into it. Today we're going to go through on Requinto, on all these different instruments, on Bajo-electrico, on Bajoloche, Tololoche, on Acordeon de Botones and Teclas, and Bajoquinto. I'm going to show you guys exactly how once we learn these basic major scale and minor scale shapes, then we can apply them and play them in any tono on any instrument to start doing some easy adornos and then take it to the next level. Okay, so first we're going to go through all of the stringed instruments because they share the exact same scale patterns. And so once you get those down, and these scales are available on my Instagram and on my TikTok, but they are also available in more depth and including almost all the tonos in my theory courses. So if you guys want those diagrams, if you want to be able to download them and practice them whenever, then DM me and join one of my courses. But I'm going to be showing them up here as well as we play. Okay, so we're going to start here on Requinto, and we're going to do major escala first and adornos to do in tonos mayores. Ready? All right, so here I have a perspective from how we look down at the fretboard, because I think that's a lot more intuitive for us to visualize and see these scale diagrams. So up here, you can see that I have the major scale here starting on the 3rd fret. So depending on your tuning, depending on the instrument that you're on, this is Requinto and I'm tuning Re right now. So technically this would be the Fa mayor escala on the 3rd fret. On an standard tuned Requinto, this would be the Sol mayor escala. But regardless, the escala is the same no matter where you play it. Wherever we put this 4 fret shape, you see that each note is a number. Now, if I switch it to the tonos, then you see I get all of these notes: G, A, B, C, D, E, and G flat, which I actually am supposed to switch to F sharp or Fa sostenido. And I can do that here. Perfect. That would be the G major scale. If I switch it to notation system, we see Sol, La, Si, Do, Re, Fa sostenido, and Sol. And so that isn't as important right now as the grados are, because the grados are each of these numbers here in the escala, and those numbers are going to help us to go up and down the escalas to play the notes. So any escala that we play, the major scale for any tono, what we're going to do is play one note at a time, and each note will get a number: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now this escala works for any tono on guitar, on Bajoquinto, on Bajo-electrico, on Tololoche, on Bajoloche. This shape is going to be super useful for us to learn because it works for any tono. Now here on the guitar, it actually only works on the 6th string and on the 5th string. If you try to play it anywhere else, this last string is not going to work. It actually would have to shift 1 fret over, but that's not the way that I would recommend you play that scale. And you can see an alternative version in my course or on my Instagram. But this pattern here is very useful because this will actually take us to the root of this chord, which we play a lot in campirano. And so this pattern is what we want to visualize when we do any adornos. And like I said, when we think of adornos, we want to think of them as a pattern going up and down this and the numbers that we're going to go up and down from. So as we play the scale, we would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, or the octave. And like I said, this works for any tono. So even if I played this on the 5th fret, that would now give me the sol mayor escala here on the 5th fret. Even if I played it down here on these frets, then this would still give me the major scale. Now that's gonna be the do mayor escala here. This would be re. That's why it's so important to learn this shape and this pattern, because that's what's gonna allow us to then play any adorno in any tono. So let's go back here to sol. And now one of the easiest adornos that you can do, and that I'm gonna play across pretty much all of these instruments, is to play the escala, whatever. Say we're just playing the chord, right? And this is an adorno usually to finish a requinto, or just kind of to end the song every now and then, but you can play it pretty much anywhere. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna walk backwards down the escala, but we're gonna play the octave twice. So we're gonna hit the 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I'm sure you've heard that a lot. And that would be the adorno. You could walk back there, or you can land on the bar chord, acorde. Now that's the very basic way we can play it. We can also do a little flutter in the middle, right there, and right there. So it would be 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. So if I'm playing again, that would give it a little bit more flavor. As you can see, very simple pattern. And again, if I just take this up to another tono, now to sol, I can do the same thing. There's another one right there. You see I'm going just 5, 6, 7, 8. That's another very, very simple adorno. And that's usually when we go from segunda back to primera. Again, I'm not going to go over that too much in this lesson, in this video, but in my courses, you'll learn a lot more about that if you guys are interested. But that's an example right there. 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's a really, really cool one. Super easy, very simple. You're going to hear it in a lot of songs, so maybe it's a little bit too overplayed. But another really cool thing that I like to do, and you're going to see a lot of people do, is in any escala, instead of just going down the escala one note at a time, they're going to go in groups of either 3 or in groups of 4. And so what we're going to do is we can do this up and down. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then instead of starting from the 1, we're going to start from the 2 and then do 4 notes from there. 2, 3, 4, 5. Then go up a scale degree to the 3 and do the same thing, 4 notes from there. So this is how it's going to sound. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a really cool adorno going up the escala, or you can also do it backwards from the 8, 7, 6, 5, then 7, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That would be it in context. It's a little fast, right? But say we're playing a little slow. That would be in groups of 3, see? When you know these escala patterns as well as I do and practice them enough, then you can just go up and down these little 1 octave scales from fa to fa, from sol to sol, you're gonna go through and you don't have to play any complicated scales and patterns because you can just mess around and have fun in this one little box. And that's what's really cool about these escalas. And there, like I said, I was going 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, landing on the octave. Now, one thing about Adornos that I also forgot to mention is that you have to play them in time with the rhythm of the song. So depending on if you're playing in 2/4, 2 cuartos, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, that's gonna give you a little bit less time to do your adornos and how many notes you can fit into each of those beats. And same thing with 3 cuartos, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or even 6 octavos, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all gonna depend, and that's gonna dictate how you fit those notes and that pattern into your rhythm. And so that's something I want you guys to mess with. I can do a whole new video on that, and I have a little bit of footage on my TikTok explaining that a bit more in depth. But for now, we're just gonna stick to this patterns and the scale degrees and the escalas. All right, so that's for escalas mayores, and you can come up with your own patterns and you can find different ways to mess with the escalas that way. But we're gonna switch to the escalas menores now and see how then we can play with the minor scale. So to make this escala menor from the escala mayor, that would be called the parallel minor. And to take any major scale and turn it into a minor scale, we have to flatten the 3rd, the 6, and the 7. So if we take each of those notes back a fret, that's how we flatten any note. That would give us this pattern, but this wouldn't really work over the minor chords that we play in regional. And so instead, I would take this 3, 6, and 7 and put it over here. Play that there. And now that gives us a very simple shape to play the minor scale. So we would play the 1, 2, flat 3. And I like to think of this as 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 3. And that would be the escala menor. And this would then be fa menor right here. And then it can continue. As you can see, I'm not going to go over the 2nd octave of these scales, but if you wanted to find them, they would be like this. That's how you can play the rest of the minor scale. And I have diagrams for that as well if you want to take it past the octave. But for now, let's just focus on this. And so in the same fashion, when we're playing over a minor chord, we can use this scale to play adornos over tonos menores. There's an example. I was freestyling a little bit, but you heard that I did the groups of 4 adorno, right? I went backwards from the octave. 8, 7, 6, 5, 7, 6, 5, 4, 6, 5, 4, 3, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that is an adorno you can do in a menor escala. Same thing as we can do. Same thing, you hear how it's the same pattern from the octave, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you just want to land on that, or the bar chord menor, if you want to do it that way. And any little thing here, one thing you can start to do as well is do hammer-ons, pull-offs, and slide. That adds a really cool feel of the tumbado sound and those types of adornos, especially in escalas menores. But that is the minor scale pattern right there. And so I don't want to stay too long here on Requinto. We're already at about 15 minutes. So now we're going to switch to another instrument that follows these exact same patterns. Now we're going to go to Bajo-electrico. All right. And we're going to see how it's the exact same thing. Let's get it. All right. So now here we're on Bajo-electrico. I went back to the major scale pattern for now. Again, it's the exact same pattern. As you can see, no matter where I play this scale, gives me the major scale. You can hear that same sound, right? Even if I played it over here, right here. That's why we learn these shapes as a pattern. We don't use tabs and we don't think of them as specific to one tono. On these fretted instruments like bass, bajoquinto, bajoloche, bajo-electrico, tololoche, it's the exact same thing. And so here, no matter where we play this pattern, we can think of it the same way. Say we're playing here, this would be in re, right? I'm on a 5 string here, so this would be sol, this is la, this is do, and this is re. So let's say we're playing in re, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Then I would be playing here, playing the root and the 5th, and I can do the same thing, 8 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Hit some arpeggios, things you can learn in my course. Do some little octaves in there, but that's just an example. As you can see, no matter what I do here, if I'm just sticking to this little octave and going up and down past it to the next octave, that's something else, like I said, you can learn in my course. But what we want to do is just learn this pattern really well and get used to navigating up and down it. The same exact thing we can do here is the groups of 4, 8 7 6 5 7 6 5 4 6 5 4 3, something like that, right? Again, forwards. There you go. And use your creativity, use your inspiration from other artists. You're gonna hear that these kinds of adornos, you can find them very easily by listening to other people play, depending on the style of music that you like. But exact same thing if I once again switch it to the menores, and here just play that pattern, the really tumbado sound. I can do so much just with that little scale pattern if I'm playing here in re menor, for example. And you don't have to stick to the notes in this escala. One thing that's really cool about these scales is there's all these notes in between, the flat 2, the flat 5, the natural 7. We can hit any of those notes, and here if we hit that flat 5, that's what's called the blues note, and that would actually be part of the minor pentatonic, which is just a simplified version of the minor scale, where we just take out the 2, we take out the flat 6, and we just play that 1 4 1 3 1 3. And again, if we add the flat 5, that will make it the blues scale. So that's really cool. You can do that. And so remember, all of those notes in between, you can use them to do little chromatic notes in there, and any way and any tono you play them in, it doesn't mean that that's outside of the scale. That just means that we're using a little pasada to get through it. But the majority of the scale that we're going to be playing is that natural minor scale. All right. And once again, if I were to go to Bajoloche and do this, it's going to be the exact same thing. If I were to go to Tololoche and do this, it's going to be the exact same thing. If I were to go to Bajoquinto and do this, exact same thing. All right. And so for the sake of time and for the sake of just going through it and getting to the more complicated instruments, I'm going to just do Bajoquinto really quick. And then I'm going to do Acordeon de Teclas and Acordeon de Botones. All right. Let's get it. All right, so here we are now in Bajoquinto. Now this one's a little confusing because the strings are tuned completely different, and it seems like it's a whole different ball game, but it's really not. It's the exact same thing. If I play this scale shape, you see how it's just the same exact sound no matter where I play it. Go right here. Be the second octave. That's the cool thing about bass instruments like quinto, like Bajo-electrico, Tololoche. When you have the space for it, you can play the same shape into the next octave. Just go here. That's not the case on guitar. Because of that B string, it's a little weird, and I explained that in my course if you guys want to learn more about that. Okay, so here on Bajoquinto, it's the same thing, but you got to understand that depending on the instrument you're playing and depending on the style of music you're playing, your adornos are going to be a little bit different, and it's completely up to you. But here on Quinto, if we're playing Quinto, I'm going to play sort of adornos like this. Adornos on other acordes like segunda, tercera, all the menores. That can get a little complicated as well, and to do that, the easiest thing that I would recommend is to learn the modes of the major scale, which is something that gets easier as you get more familiar with these basic scale shapes. Because to do the modes of the major scale, we're gonna have to adjust these notes. Like the scale to play segunda would be this. This is called the Mixolydian scale. We have to flatten the 7. On tercera, we would have to sharpen the 4, which is technically the same as the flat 5. And so those notes are actually the same thing as the major scale of the tono you're playing. And so a tip that you can understand to do adornos over any acorde is just to play the major scale of the tono of the song. So if the song's in do mayor, use the do mayor escala even on sol 7, the segunda. You're still going to be using escala and the notes in the do escala when you play over sol. You just want to focus the sol root because that's the acorde that you're on. Same thing when we go to fa and we're playing fa. That's called the Lydian mode. Mixolydian for segunda, Ionian mode or the major scale for primera, Dorian mode for the segundo grado, Phrygian mode for the tercer grado, and then Aeolian is the natural minor scale. And so same exact thing here. So if you guys want a little bit more in-depth explanation about that, that's going to be near the end of pretty much all of my courses. Even in the Requinto one, we're not at that point yet because it is very advanced and it takes a while to build up to that to understand how it works. But maybe I could do a YouTube video on that as well. But first things first, we got to build it up, baby steps. All right. So that would be mayor escalas, the same thing. It's one of my favorite adornos. I love that one so much. Doing the 5, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing as here. You hear that one so often in so many instruments in regional. That's another one of my favorites that you can do on Requinto. You can do it on Bajoquinto, pretty much any like stringed instrument where we're playing rhythm. And when you do these chords here, that you're playing the root, the third, and the octave, right? That's what's going on here. That's basically the chord that we're playing, right there. I like to rake it and then lift the pressure. And then I go from the 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'll rake it and then just slide the finger down. Right there, you can do a little flutter. You can see just going up and down in different patterns gives you so many different sounds. And what I do is I just play a chord and I just do little patterns. And those are all adornos. Now that's another really cool one there that on quinto especially sounds really dope. What I'm doing is I'm playing the octave and the 5th. So the 5, then go down a chromatic note to the 4, the 3, and that takes you to the chord. You can do it in single notes, or you can do it in triplets by playing the octave twice. So that would be the major scale. Same thing as always. Minor scale, we're just gonna play this. Play it that way, play it like that. So many different options. Even this super spaced out minor chord. But again, when we're playing this kind of shape, it's not very ideal to play this kind of pattern even if we're playing a minor 7, because then we have to switch all the way over here and then go back, right? And so there's different ways that we can play these scales. Instead of going all the way over here, what I can do is I can kind of center it more around this chord. So take these guys, play those right there. What else do I need? I need the 2 and the 5, right? And so that's what I can do there. Instead, I can play like 1, 2, 3, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 6, 7. And then the octave would be way over there, right? Or I would play it probably there. So I would go here, I'm playing playing the root, the flat 3, and the flat 7. So if I'm playing this chord, then I would probably play that, reach back, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, and then I don't have a string down here to go to, so I'd have to slide up there. But say if I was playing it here, and I'm playing a minor 7, well technically a minor 9, then I would play it like that. And that's what I would do. But when we have space and we're playing a minor chord right here, I would play a minor bar chord. And that way I can very easily play this scale over the bar chord. That's going to be very useful for songs like La People, like La Especial songs, like Tito WP songs, all those kinds of songs, you're going to be using this scale. So you got to practice them, you got to get the fingering down really well, and you got to put in some time and some work to get it down. But that's exactly what we're going to do. And so I'm going to leave that in your guys' hands to keep working on and keep practicing. And I'm hoping that I'm explaining it well enough to where you guys can figure it out. And once again, if you're still struggling and you're not figuring it out, leave a comment or send me a DM or join one of my courses or take some private lessons. I got you. All right, so now let's go to a little bit more of a different pattern where we're going to have different scale shapes and different patterns for every tono on Acordeon de Teclas and Acordeon de Botones. So let's go to Teclas first, all right? All right, so here we are on Acordeon de Teclas, and we're looking at this PDF that I made with all the natural tonos, well, all the major scales actually, not just the natural tonos. You see here we have Do mayor, we have Re mayor, we have Mi mayor, Fa mayor, Sol mayor, and if you look at the notes here, see we still have the grados, and that's why it's so important to learn the escalas as a shape, but also to understand the grados, how we go up and down. But each pattern on Acordeon de Teclas is completely different. Now, obviously, we can look up the major scales on piano and find them very easily, but it's going to be hard to find them in the Spanish tonos and from the perspective that we look down at the teclas. And that's why I made them exactly like this, because that's how we look down at the keyboard. And so we'll start with Do mayor, very simple. And once again, on any of those adornos that we just did on Requinto and Bajoquinto, we can do them here on teclas as well. So if we go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we can go from here 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and land on the primer grado. Okay. What else can we do here? We can go up 3 notes at a time or 4 notes at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go up to the segundo grado. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's actually a really popular adorno that you're seeing a lot of people on TikTok do right now, especially downwards. Now, not usually in 4, but mostly I've seen them do it in 3s. Right there, that's one that I've been seeing a lot. So that's a really cool one. Going down in 3s, you can use your ring. Or you can use your middle, index, and thumb. Takes a lot of practice. I'm a little rusty on teclas. I haven't been practicing. But those are some quick examples, right? And I want you guys to mess around and find your own. But if we go now to Re mayor, we now get 2 sostenidos in there. So we got to make sure to hit that Fa sostenido, and we got to make sure to hit that Do sostenido. So starting from Re, we would play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let's see, I messed up there. But same thing. 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or do the little flutter. 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. And then in thirds or fourths, 3 notes at a time. 3 notes at a time going up. Going backward. Sounds kind of piratey for some reason. But 4 notes at a time, same thing. if we go to any other tono like mi mayor, fa mayor, we use fa a lot on teclas. So fa would be one to practice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3. There you go. So as you can see, it's the exact same thing. And this is why I'm telling you, if you learn the grados of the escalas and your adornos thinking them as the pattern that we go up and down those numbers, that makes it so much easier to learn any adorno and take it to any escala, any tono, and to be a much more well-rounded musician. Okay, so that's what we're gonna see here. It's the exact same thing, no matter what tono, no matter what escala. Even if we did some crazy one like fa sostenido or la bemol, you can see that this has a really awkward pattern on teclas, but it's not that bad. It would actually be here on the middle tecla here. La bemol, si bemol, do, re bemol, mi bemol, fa, sol, and la. La bemol. No hay novedad right there. Very hard to play, not the hardest thing in the world, but again, we can just take it to another tono, do the adornos and do the melodías. This works for the música, this works for the intros, this works for the requintos. All of this, just learning your grados and applying them to any escala, that's the best thing. And one thing that I also want to mention, hopefully the people who have stayed this long to watch this get this quick little piece of information, but any major scale has a relative minor scale with the exact same notes. So to learn an escala menor, all you have to do is find its relative major and practice that really well. And so one that is very, very common in the songs that have been playing lately is going to be si bemol mayor, because the relative of si bemol mayor is actually sol menor. And a lot of songs by Clave Especial, by Fuerza, by Peso Pluma are in sol menor. And so instead of trying to learn the sol mayor escala and flattening those three notes like we saw earlier, you could just learn the si bemol escala, and that's going to give you the same thing as sol menor. If I were to look up G minor scale on piano, you're going to see that it's going to have all the same notes as si bemol right here. You see how we have G, A, B flat, C, D, E flat, F, and G, all natural notes except for the B flat and the E flat, right? I'll zoom in a little bit better. I see that better, right? B flat, E flat, all natural tonos, right? When we go back to the PDF, you see we have all natural tonos except for the Si bemol, which is B flat, and the Mi bemol, which is B flat. And once again, if you don't believe me, I can just look up G minor relative major, and you're going to see that it's going to say B flat major is the relative of G minor. So sol menor and si bemol mayor are the same escala. So if you know this escala really well, si bemol, which would be right here, that'll be si bemol. That's what we're going to use for the sol menor escala. But what we're going to do is we're just going to go to the sexto grado. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's sol. And we're going to play the si bemol mayor escala starting from sol. And that's going to give us sol menor. Kind of hear that? That's sol menor right there. And so that's a really cool pro tip there. If you want to learn how to do your menor escalas on accordion, because you would technically have to memorize 12 whole new minor scales, you really don't. If you know the major scales really well, then you just contextualize the minor scale inside of that major scale. And we're going to show that on Acordeon de Botones as well right now, all right? So we're going to switch to Acordeon de Botones, the last one, and hopefully you guys are starting to see how easy this is and why it's been so easy for me to learn all these instruments. All right, let's get it. All right, so here we're looking at a diagram that I posted on my Instagram and on my TikTok that you guys can see how to do the escalas for the first tono of our accordion in sencilla. So this would be the fa mayor escala here on my accordion de fa. And so you can see the numbers, exact same thing. It's the grados of the escala. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There it is, the basic adorno, right? 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And any of those adornos that we just did, we can play the exact same way here. We can do the flutter. And that would give us the fa escala. I also included them pushing. So if you want to learn your escalas inwards as well, you have to pull for that séptimo grado though, and I include that info here. You can read it and watch the diagrams. You see there for the 7 we have to pull, but there exactly in fa mayor we can play this adorno. We can do anything here in fa mayor that we want, and we can even do them in groups. That's a great way to practice your agilidad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? And if we do it 4 notes at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Same thing backward. That would be fa mayor. Now let's go to another tono. We'll go to si bemol and see that it's the exact same thing. Second tono en sencillas. Full screen this page, zoom it in. Now here, this is the si bemol escala. And so now we're going to start here on this button, third button down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Or 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. Any adorno that you want to do here. There you go. Knowing the escalas lets you do adornos in any tono, and it really frees up everything. You can even do them in terceras. There you go. That would be si bemol. And again, like I was mentioning about the menores, you don't have to learn a whole new pattern for the menor, because the sol menor escala would be the relative of this major scale. And if you look, the relative of any major scale is the sexto grado. So you see how sol is the sexto grado in si bemol? So that's how we know sol menor is going to share all the same notes as si bemol mayor. Now do in an acordeon de sol, this would be your second tono. And so la menor is going to be the relative that you get in the do mayor escala. So when you play this escala shape on an acordeon de sol and you start from the sexto grado, that'll give you the la menor escala. Same thing in a mi escala and you're playing la mayor, or in a mi acordeon and you're playing la mayor, you're going to get fa sostenidos menor escala. Okay, so let's go back and look at it again. And then we're going to see that when I start from the sexto grado, which is right here, right there, right? That's the octavo. 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's how it would go. But like I said, if we start from the sexto grado instead, you hear how that sounds really menor instead. And I'm playing the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, I can go behind the lowest note and I can go 1, 7, 6, 5. But if I start from the 6, that's the minor scale, sol menor. And you probably hear it and you can tell that it's different than the major scale. But it's the same notes. It's all about context. There you go. So that's a really cool little piece of information. And so I think I'm gonna end it there. We can go to all the other tonos, and you can see I have them all here. I've made diagrams for them. They're all on my Instagram as well. It's a little hard to see, but you should be able to download those pictures and use them on your phone and learn them. I have it all here, the escalas and sencillas, and then of course in terceras. Very, very important for música and for learning intros of songs. A lot of really good info here for theory as well if you read it and you learn. And if you're confused, like I said, send me a DM to do private lessons on Acordeon de Botones. I can help you out and explain the theory of it. But I don't have a course for botones just yet. I haven't learned the ins and outs of it well enough to give a full course from beginning to the intermediate level. But maybe I can do a very basic basic music theory course from just getting your toes wet a little bit in the theory of Acordeon de Botones. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Send me a DM, leave a comment down below if I didn't clarify anything well enough. And hopefully this helped you guys to start to learn a little bit more about Adornos. But this is just scratching the surface. This is very, very basic stuff. And like I said, these are mostly going to work over the primera mayor or the primera menor. And so we're going to have to learn how do we then go to the other acordes and how do we do Adornos when that chord isn't even in the song. That's what I want you guys to try to figure out. Like I said, modes of the major scale. All right. Appreciate you guys. Have a good one. And let me know what other YouTube videos you want to see or anything else. Got you.